Next on the news, this walkathon has a reach that extends beyond a Catholic school courtyard.
From Queens all the way to Sudan, students here at St. Stan's in Maspeth are turning the pages of this book into progress. I'm Jessica Easthope with how they're quenching thirst thousands of miles away.
Bishops around the country are urging you to take part in a novena to respect life. We hear from the shepherd leading the first day of prayer. Plus, 6 months after Pope Francis's death, thousands still flock to his tomb. We check in with the mourners outside the Basilica of St. Mary Major. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. Inspired by a tale of survival, students at St. Stan's Catholic Academy are making strides of solidarity. After reading a novel about the struggle to access clean drinking water in war-torn South Sudan, the kids stepped up to raise money and awareness. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story from Maspeth.
Chants of change and steps toward a solution to a problem these students at St. Stanislaus Kostka Catholic Academy will never face.
As I'm reading the book, I'm learning that there are people that are struggling, and that makes me want to help them more.
The book, A Long Walk to Water, a semi-biographical tale of the fight to access clean water in war-torn South Sudan. Characters hid from violence and traveled miles for a drink. For these kids and their teachers, the struggle jumped right off the page and into their hearts.
As Catholics, we have to be stewards of the earth. I wanted them to see that how other people live and that they could do something about it.
So they walked. The 5th through 8th grade classes pounded the pavement in their Maspeth schoolyard to raise money for Water for South Sudan, a nonprofit that builds wells, founded by one of the novel's protagonists. The words started a wave of compassion at St. Stan's. The students raised $1,200 for the cause, showing how small feet can make big strides a world away.
It's good to feel like we accomplished something. They will be building a well. St. Stan helped do that.
This was for people they'll never meet. They'll never understand how they live, and yet they did it.
According to UNICEF, 6.5 million people, that's 60% of the South Sudanese population, don't have access to clean drinking water.
All of us need to help each other, and we need to be one.
By helping people get water, I really think that I'm doing something that Jesus could have done.
It costs $5,000 to build one well in South Sudan. The students are hoping others will be inspired as they were, and that if they reach their goal, faith could flow across borders. In Maspeth, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
You can help St. Stanislaus Kostka Catholic Academy raise money for the people of South Sudan. Just make a check out to the school located at 6117 Grand Avenue in Maspeth, Queens, and put water in the memo. The first day of the Respect Life Novena kicked off Wednesday. Bishop Daniel Thomas of the Diocese of Toledo, Ohio, led the prayers, saying now more than ever, it's important to pray for the respect of God's gift of life, no matter the stage.
On this first day of the novena, we pray that every person's life be protected and cared for from conception to natural death. For today's intention, I invite you to join me in making a sacrifice of fasting from one meal or in praying the rosary for an end to abortion.
For each of the 9 days, a different bishop will be leading the faithful in prayer, including Diocese of Brooklyn's Bishop Robert Brennan, who will lead the 4th day. To participate in this year's novena, download the free version of the Hallow app. You can also read the prayers online at the usccb.org. Pope Leo XIV received letters from victims of the Annunciation Church shooting in Minneapolis. Archbishop Bernard Hebda of St. Paul-Minneapolis delivered them while in Rome for the ordination of 2 seminarians as deacons. The letters from students and their families thanked the Pope for his prayers in the wake of the shooting. Archbishop Hebda says he asked the Holy Father to continue praying for those still recovering and for those who might find it difficult to return to Annunciation for the celebration of Mass. For the first time in more than 500 years, a British monarch will pray with the Pope. King Charles and Queen Camilla have arrived in Rome as part of their historic state visit to the Vatican, where the two will attend a service at the Sistine Chapel in a display of unity between both the Catholic Church and the Church of England. King Charles is the first British monarch since the 16th century to pray with a pontiff at a church service. It will also be the first time the king has met Pope Leo. This week marks a grim anniversary for Catholics around the world. It was 6 months ago Tuesday that Pope Francis returned to the Lord. But as Katie DeJohnny reports outside the Basilica of St. Mary Major, love for the people's Pope hasn't dimmed.
This week marks 6 months since the passing of Pope Francis, and all the while later, people are flocking in their numbers to pay their last respects to Pope Francis. He was buried here in this very Basilica of Mary Major, where he was buried next to the statue of Mother Mary, whom he had a special and enduring devotion to. Pope Francis paid more than 100 visits to this Basilica to spend time with Mother Mary before his papal visit during the height of COVID-19, and especially after coming out of hospital in March. Pope Francis is not the only pope to be buried in this basilica. In fact, he is the 8th pope to be buried here. But as you can see behind me, he is definitely a popular pope. And the sentiment we are getting here is that people don't mind spending hours just to spend a minute to say their final goodbyes to the people's pope. Reporting live from Rome, this is Katie DeJohnny for Current News.
And finally tonight, Wednesday marks the feast day of another popular pope, St. John Paul II. Born in Poland in 1920, he became the successor of St. Peter in 1978, serving for nearly 27 years, one of the longest pontificates ever. Known as a defender of human dignity and shepherd of the people of God, he inspired the Polish Solidarity movement, which helped lead to the fall of communism throughout Eastern Europe. And from the beginning of his papacy, St. John Paul II sought to heal division between the Christian churches. He died on the vigil of the Feast of Divine Mercy, and some 3 million people came to Rome for his funeral. He was canonized in 2011 and declared a saint by Pope Francis in 2014, who called him one of the men who most shaped the last century. That is this Current News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.